Hello world, welcome back to the Razor RC, and I finished doing the slider build so far of the Yokomo YZ-2 CAL 3.1. This is my very first Yokomo, so I put it together. I just want to talk about the experience, a couple of quick tips, and kind of cover how it went. I'm running completely stock kit setup, except for I threw in some Wits Racing ceramic bearings. So these are pretty cheap. We do have a 20% off coupon code, so you can get these I think for 53 bucks. Really cheap for just a crazy amount of performance. I mean, drivetrain is like super free. Spinning super nice, so that'll, it's not just for stock racing, I realize, but actually having a free drivetrain actually allows the whole car to be a little more fluid, respond a little more easily. All the suspension, everything works a little bit better, even just from the rotation of the drivetrain and everything. So do highly recommend picking up some ceramic bearings. Well worth it in my opinion. For 53 bucks, I think it's a no-brainer. Yeah, so for overall, the kit went together really well. I put it together in 4 hours, which I think is like the fastest I've ever put together a kit. And pretty amazing for a kit I've never, from a brand I've never done before. So that was pretty neat. I mean, it was pretty good overall. I mean, it's kind of got that typical Japanese look. It almost looks like things are hand-drawn. I guess they're not, but it kind of looks that way. Obviously, everything is in half Japanese, half English. A lot of like one-to-one parts, show you what everything looks like. They tell you what's one-to-one, and then all this stuff is not one-to-one. Only real concern I had is they don't really talk about stuff like Threadlock. I think there were only like one part that they told you put Threadlock on, which is the screws inside the pistons on the shocks. But really, you want to put Threadlock on any metal to metal piece. I mean, a lot of these screws and stuff thread into metal. You do want to use Threadlock on those. They do use a lot of like little nuts and stuff. Like here for the bottom of the ball stud, it's got a little nut there, not really a lock nut washer. You definitely want to put a little Threadlock on there and make sure that doesn't come loose, because that would be super annoying. But yeah, kit went together pretty well. I did have one problem, which is one of these diff inserts here in the back that holds the gear diff. I'm missing one, so it generally comes with 4, basically 2 that come in pairs, and then you can flip one up or down depending on what kind of orientation you want. And I was just missing one of the diff inserts, so I reached out to A-Main where I picked up my kit, and I got one on the way, so that's nice. No big fuss there, but other than that, yeah, kit went together super well. Parts are super high quality. This is my first like modern Japanese kit, and the parts quality is amazing. This thing is made in Japan. These shocks, I mean, these gold shocks look phenomenal, ridiculous, whatever you want to call it. They're just super nice. These bronze springs, everything fit together really well. Didn't have to file anything, sand anything, no hand fitment, no reaming, nothing like that. And that's part of why I think this kit went together so fast. All that stuff, if you have to do any sort of slight modifications and stuff, definitely takes up a lot of time and will make your build take a lot longer. So not having to do that was really nice. Option parts I would recommend, besides the bearings, probably you want to get the aluminum front, I guess you call it camber block or whatever. Mine is plastic. The rear one, I think they also make in aluminum. That will also give you more adjustments. There's only one fixed position here in the rear, so I don't know if you really need those other positions, but yeah, definitely aluminum camber blocks make a lot of sense. Aluminum servo horn probably makes sense. I'm going to try the composite one. We'll see. Maybe a slipper eliminator. I think you do need to get the top shaft and the eliminator as separate pieces if you want to run the whole slipper eliminator. But yeah, I'm running mine completely stock, so we'll see how that goes. Another quick tip, here in the front, these 2 screws on the bottom, they actually thread into 2 nuts that are sitting inside your camber block up here. And unfortunately, when you put in those screws, it kind of pushes the nut up, and then you can't actually thread onto anything. So I actually recommend putting this top piece on last. Put it on the bumper first, so you can kind of locate those little nuts, and then once they're threaded onto those nuts, then you can put on the top piece. That makes it a little bit easier. Also here in the back, when you put on the rear camber block and the transmission, it doesn't really tell you what order to put them in. Let's kind of look here in the manual, but there is definitely a recommendation here. So when you put both these on, put on the camber block first, because you need to get access to these screws, and if you can't, I mean, it's really hard to do once the transmission's in the way, because wing nuts and everything are gonna kind of block your way. And I think that's pretty much it. Otherwise, other than that, you know, kit went together super smooth. Obviously, look at all the instructions, shocks and stuff. You do definitely want to fill up all the way up to the top when you're gonna put on the cab, because yeah, there's a big air gap here in the front, and these shocks are super tiny. I mean, the shock bodies are tiny, especially in the front. I mean, they're like an inch long maybe. So make sure you fill those all the way up to the top. Get every last drop you can before you put on the cap and bleed it. So that's pretty much it for the Yokomo YZ-2 CAL 3.1. I just gotta do electronics, I gotta do the body, and then I'll be ready to run. We'll be taking it to my local carpet track and seeing it run. Super excited because I've never had a Yokomo before. I've driven them and want to kind of see what the fuss was all about. And it's been a real pleasure to put together so far. So enjoying the brand. Anyways, that's it. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, and notifications button. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.